Hello everyone, my desk research topic is maintaining identity and cultural adaptation through music. In this presentation, I will explore how young immigrants use music to navigate unfamiliar environments while preserving their cultural identity. Here's a quick overview of today's presentation. I will begin with the topic and research objectives, then share the motivation behind choosing this area of study. Next, I will explain the research method, walk through key findings, and highlight the summary of insights. Finally, I will outline the next steps and close with references. Let's begin with the topic and research goals. Many young immigrants face challenges balancing identity and adaptation. Music plays a powerful role in this process. It helps with emotional expression, builds social connections, and preserves cultural heritage. So, this research has three key objectives: to understand how music supports emotional and social experiences, to evaluate the role of digital platform in cultural integration, and to critique current platforms through an experience-centered design lens to suggest more inclusive directions. To go a bit deeper, this research has four main aims. First, to explore how young immigrants use music to express emotions and maintain cultural identity. Second, to assess how digital technologies support or limit these experiences. Third, to analyze the gaps in existing music platforms, especially in terms of cultural responsiveness. And finally, to identify design opportunities that could make digital music experiences more meaningful and supportive. Now, let me share what motivated this research. Young immigrants in their 20s are forming identities and social networks in new environments. They are open to new experiences, and music plays a vital role in helping them adapt. Past studies have shown that music offers emotional comfort and helps maintain cultural identity. Supporting these musical experiences improves well being, strengthens communities, and opens new doors for inclusive design. So, based on this motivation, how did I conduct the research? I started by identifying key search terms. The first was immigrant adaptation in music to find studies about music's role in cultural adjustment. Next, cultural identity preservation, which helped me locate research on maintaining one's heritage in a new place. Lastly, I searched digital music platforms and social integration to explore how digital media connect people across cultures. I use three main databases: Google Scholar for broad academic access, UT's Library for deeper journal and book insights, and the ACM Library for papers focused on media and interaction design. In total, I reviewed 13 sources, 8 academic papers, and 5 commercial platforms. Among them, 11 were highly useful for analysts. To ensure relevance and depth, I followed a clear process. I defined the scope and refined the topic. I created keyword combinations and searched through databases. After filtering the results, I reviewed abstracts and downloaded relevant sources. Then I grouped findings into themes like emotional support, cultural identity, and social interaction, ensuring alignment with both user experience and design goals. Now, let's move into the finding sections. Many studies explore how immigrants maintain cultural identity while adjusting to new environments. Music is often highlighted as a key tool not just for emotional expression, but also for building community and resilience. Some studies focus on how digital music genres like hip hop influence identity and belonging in immigrant youth. So, why were these studies conducted? Researchers aim to understand music's impact on identity and belonging. They also wanted to see how digital tools support or hinder cultural adaptation. Many studies are motivated by a need to address gaps in current platforms and suggest more inclusive solutions through an experience centered design lens. Supporting immigrant music experiences has real benefits. It helps promote social inclusion and intercultural understanding. It improves emotional well being, especially for marginalized youth, and it offers valuable insight for designing more inclusive music technologies. Many studies focus on how young immigrants use music in everyday life. This includes personal listening, school music programs, and community projects. These real world contexts make the findings more meaningful. So, why do researchers focus on these experiences? Because music helps express identity, reduce stress, and foster emotional connection. It's accessible, impactful, and embedded in daily life, especially in multicultural settings. Let's now look at how music creates meaningful interactions. Sharing music builds a sense of belonging and helps resolve identity conflicts. Music is also a coping tool for homesickness, stress, and unspoken emotions. So, what makes researchers focus on music interaction specifically? Because music interaction is not just listening, it's emotional participation. It fosters empathy, identity repair, and shared experience. That's why interactive participatory settings are at the heart of many music studies. There are also real world design examples. Crawford introduced interactive music games. France exposed a community hip hop studio for immigrant teens. Vogue described co creative groups mixing refugees and locals. These examples show how design fosters confidence, inclusion, and creativity. What have we learned from these designs? Interactive designs boost creativity, engagement, and cultural empathy. When platforms reflect users' cultures, they feel more seen and valued. Community based designs have been very successful, but most mainstream platforms still focus on individual use. They often lack social or cultural adaptability. So, what should future designs focus on? They should support collaborative creation, social connection, and interactive storytelling. They need to be culturally adaptive, supporting diverse languages, genres, and traditions. AI should be used to promote exploration, not just repeat preference. Let's now turn to commercial music platforms. Spotify and SoundCloud aim for personalization through algorithms. Small and Bandla focus more on social interaction and music creation, while sub-platforms like Radio Garden offer global access, most lack tools for identity or emotional support. To sum up, music helps preserve cultural identity. Digital platforms support discovery but often lack emotional or social support. Most applications focus on personalization, not community. Experience centered design can help bridge this gap. To conclude, music is more than entertainment. It supports identity, belonging, and well being. But most platforms still fall short, offering access without interaction. That's where ECD comes in. By designing for emotional connection, culture, and community, we can reimagine music platforms. They can become spaces for identity, healing, and social connection, not just consumption. Next, I plan to conduct interviews with young immigrants in Australia, aged 18 to 30. I want to explore how they use music for emotional and cultural support. Here are some questions I will ask. Has music ever made you think of your hometown or feel connected to it? Do you feel like your playlist represents your personality or background? Since moving here, have you found music helpful for meeting people or feeling connected? What features would make a music application feel more comforting or meaningful to you? This research was grounded in academic articles and platform reviews. The references include studies on music, identity, adaptation, and design. along with commercial platforms used by young immigrants today. Thank you for listening.